bad was it? I'll read it again if I have to. Robotic, choppy at times. Okay. Does it sound any better right now? At all? I just went and fixed a couple things. Better so far? Is that better? I mean, I went into my settings over here, fixed a couple things. Hopefully that helped, guys. Fucking fuck. Fucking fuck. Sounds amazing now. Sounds amazing now. Okay, good. Fuck my life. Lord, help. Okay, let's read this again, friends, because I promise you, Eric Seat's my favorite, right? We're going to read it one more time. It's not that long. S22, Eric Seat. The expert opinion of this DNA technician provides an explanation of the possible testimony regarding a methodology for DNA testing, YSTR, for which the defense has received no discovery or indication that the method has been used in this case. Oopsie. There is no opinion disclosed other than, quote, because of the large volume of discovery, the state directs the defense to summary reports of the expert's ultimate conclusions, which can be found in Lab Report 3. Lab Report 3 is DNA data of an alternate suspect, but no ultimate opinion or result is specified. Testimony through this witness, other than that relating to an alternate perpetrator, must be prohibited pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 16. Blah, 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 blah. Then we have S10, S13, S14, Mowry, Tanzola, and Urig. Dear God, this audio better be holding up. It better be holding up. Crystal clear, better. Oh, thank God. Thank God. It was only 28 minutes of bullshit that I'm going to have to go fucking edit out and delete. Oh my God. What a nightmare. Thanks, everybody. Christy, hello. Good to see you. Okay. Okay, cool. We're good. We're good now. Awesome. Fuckity fuck 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 is right, James Moen. Fuckity fuck fuck fuck. Okay, we're good. Okay. So, Eric Seat, okay, the state was going to bring Eric Seat to testify, right? And the state told the defense, well, due to this large volume of discovery, the only thing we can tell you to do, we can direct you to his lab reports, okay? Go look at Lab Report 3 if you want to know Eric Seat's opinions and analysis. And the defense said, well, we went and looked at Lab Report 3, and Lab Report 3 is DNA data of an alternate suspect, but no ultimate opinion or result is specified. Oopsie. And then also here, YSTR testing. YSTR testing. Anybody in the chat know why you need to do YSTR testing? Audrey, darling, beautiful Audrey. I know you know why one would need to do YSTR testing. What's YSTR testing for, friends? What's it for? Do they do YSTR testing on an all-female sample? Do they? Do they do YSTR testing when it's a female-only sample? What do they do YSTR testing for, I wonder? I wonder. YSTR testing. Oh, that's right. YSTR testing is for when you have mixed samples. And it isn't just all female. You could have multiple male mixed. You could have a male mixed in with female. Something tells me that Mr. Eric Seat here maybe was the person who had to handle this mixed sample on the back of the sheet. Just questions, just my opinion, just my thoughts, just my brainworms. Okay. Usually you would do YSTR testing because you have a mixed sample and there's a male present in that sample. So you need to isolate that male. And if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure Audrey will let me know, but I don't think I am. I'm pretty sure I am right about that. Usually YSTR's testing you're going to do because you have what could be like a major female, minor male. You need to isolate the male. It could be two females, minor male. You need to isolate the male. That's the purpose of the YSTR testing. But again, I don't know shit, friends. Exercise due diligence and look it up yourself. Okay, so let's get into this because I want to get to the good stuff that I found, and it's not in this document. So let's crank through this shit. S10, S13, S14, Maori Tanzola Urig. The state has provided no disclosure of any expert opinions related to 67 electronic devices, 67 electronic devices, and third-party data collected during the investigation. The state has failed to identify what portions of the electronic device data, digital data, and or third-party search warrant return data will be presented. The state has failed to disclose any expert opinion about what any analysis of the devices and data depict. The state has disclosed in discovery a new report stating further examination is taking place. That disclosure came well after the state's discovery deadline. The report does not contain any sort of opinion. Recently, the state submitted rebuttal expert disclosures. Repeatedly, the state writes that it cannot provide rebuttal as Mr. Kohberger has not provided information about what his experts may say. The state's disclosure would seem to be the proverbial chicken and egg anecdote, except in criminal proceedings, the accused has rights under the United States Constitution and the Idaho Constitution. Court proceedings are rule-bound, and presiding judges pronounce deadlines. As such, the state was required to provide expert opinions to which Mr. Kohberger would rebut. The state's disclosures remain vague. Mr. Kohberger cannot prepare to confront purported evidence that is undisclosed. The electronic evidence in this case is critical, and the state is impeding the defense from being able to prepare to confront the evidence or use the evidence in Mr. Kohberger's capital trial. And then it's got a little footnote down here. It says motion in limine number 2, exhibit 2, police report indicating additional analysis of Mr. Kohberger's computer. Okay, then we're going to get to Detective Gilbertson. I know, I promise it's going to be so worth it. We are doing this as a refresher for context, and I promise it's going to be so worth it. Promise, friends. Blueberry the Great, good to see you. Just a devil woman. You need to isolate that male. I'm going to use that next time a girl wants to break up with their man. That's hysterical. Okay, let's get into it. Detective Gilbertson, S7. The state did not disclose Detective Gilbertson in their initial disclosures, but instead listed him as a rebuttal witness. The state did not identify any specific expert or opinion that the detective will rebut. Thus, the court should exclude this testimony as outside of the scope of rebuttal and irrelevant. Moreover, the court should exclude the testimony under IRE 403B. The relevance of this testimony is minimal at best and carries a serious risk of juror confusion. The detective walked alone through a house that he is intimately familiar with in the middle of broad daylight, more than 1 week after the house had been vacated and changed significantly due to a homicide investigation. He simply counted out loud upon entering rooms. This is a far, far cry from what the state alleges occurred. Additionally, Mr. Kohberger attempted to learn more about the experiment through discovery. He sought things such as recordings or photographs of the timed run, or written notes taken and documented during the experiment. Nothing was provided in discovery. The prosecution stated those items did not exist. Finally, the court should exclude this testimony because it violates Mr. Kohberger's due process rights. The house has been torn down. The defense cannot now effectively rebut this inflammatory and minimally relevant testimony. We're almost there, friends. Gary Dawson. This expert was disclosed for the first time in the state's rebuttal experts. He is a toxicology expert. Mr. Kohberger did not disclose an expert relating to toxicology. This expert is not a rebuttal expert and should be excluded from trial. David Middleman. This expert was disclosed as a rebuttal expert relating to IgG. This expert is addressed in a separate motion. See motion in limine number 12. It is in the interests of fairness, justice, and judicial economy to exclude the listed experts. And then it goes into all of these reasons why you need to blah, 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 blah. Court found all of this, blah, 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 cites all of this. Okay, cool. We got through that one. Wait, just wait. We're getting there, friends. I promise. Is it that one? Ooh, I wanted to show you this one, actually, real quick. Let me show you this one, too. Where'd it go? Okay, so we don't need that one. Okay, I'm going to look at this one real quick. Hello, Suzanne B. Welcome on in. Hopefully the audio is holding up, friends. Let's look at this one next. The only reason I wanted to show you this one is because this is the state's response to the defendant's motion in limine number 2 that we were just reading. It's 12 pages. We don't need to go through the whole thing, but I wanted to point this one out here. So you know how we just read for Eric Seat that his lab report 3 is DNA data of an alternate suspect, right? And it also talks about the YSTR testing. Well, look at what the state's reply to this is. Look at what their response is regarding Eric Seat. The state filed an expert disclosure for Mr. Seat on December 18th, 2024. In accordance with the court's guidance on January 23rd, 2025, the state filed an amended disclosure for Mr. Seat on March 3rd, 2025. That disclosure addresses the concerns about the YSTR testing raised by the defendant in his motion. The state submits these disclosures, comply with ICR. Notice what Bill left out here. He makes no comment about, hey, that lab report that I told you to go look at that talks about DNA data of an alternate suspect. Notice he doesn't talk about that here. He only references the YSTR testing and nothing about the alternate suspect DNA data that is in Mr. Seat's lab report. Notice he glazes right over that shit. Glazed right over it. Of course he did. So we don't need to go through that. I just wanted to point that out for that. Let's close that out. Is it this one? Okay, and here we go, friends. This is the one we're about to. Now, maybe this has always been here, but I'm almost positive that it wasn't, because when the defense did this reply, their exhibits were under seal. Okay. So this is the reply to the state's response to the defendant's motion in limine number 2. Okay. Buckle up, friends. Buckle up, because there's about 11 pages of this that were previously sealed, and we did not get to see them. And if they were always there and I am wrong about that, I have no problem being wrong. But I distinctly remember covering the motions in limine, especially this one, number 2. And I'm almost positive when we read the defense's response, the last 11 pages of this were completely sealed, blacked out, whatever. We couldn't see them because it was part of their exhibit. So, oh boy, let's get into it. Comes now Brian C. Kohberger, by and through his attorneys of record, and hereby replies to the state's response to the motion in limine number 2. Filed with the court March 17th, 2025. Latah County began prosecuting Mr. Kohberger in December of 2022. Discovery was filtered to Mr. Kohberger in a slow, disorganized, and tedious fashion. The state had the benefit of 6 weeks, access to the scene, law enforcement and experts analyzing the scene, experts ready and available to assist with search warrants and expert advice. Hundreds of law enforcement officers assisted in the case. Access to the investigating with assisting law enforcement and experts meant that prosecutors did not have to filter through 68 terabytes of information to be sure the right information was at the fingertips of the expert. The reality and gravity of 68 terabytes of information cannot be overstated. 67 devices, 68 terabytes. Mr. Kohberger's capital defense team has spent over 2 years devouring as much of the data as possible. The team has not completed review. His team does not have hundreds of people to locate and talk about various pieces of information contained in the discovery. The state does. Mr. Kohberger is protected by the U.S. Constitution and the Constitution of Idaho. He has the right to a fair trial, to have effective assistance of counsel, to confront evidence against him. He has the right not to be convicted unless the state proves its case beyond a reasonable doubt. The state bears the burden of proof. The state has ethical duties under the Constitution, criminal and evidentiary rules, and orders of this court to disclose expert opinion and what it would rely on in its case against Mr. Kohberger. Instead, the state provided vague, loose topic area responses for the experts they had worked closely with. These same experts have been working with the state since the beginning of the case. The state's disclosures were, for the most part, abysmal. Still, as it relates to 67 electronic devices and third-party warrant returns, the state has not disclosed any expert opinions or disclosures of what it intends to rely on. The state's disclosures can only be described as sandbagging. Maori, you sandbagging son of a bitch. In many cases, it appears that the state's initial disclosures resemble a laundry list of topics, and then once Mr. Kohberger complied with the court's order, the state took advantage of learning a great deal about Mr. Kohberger's experts and evidence and tailored new disclosures to address Mr. Kohberger's experts. These are not rebuttal disclosures. They are the state's case in chief. Numerous examples are laid out in detail in Exhibit 1. One example is the state's Amazon expert Cox. A second and more extreme example is FBI Special Agent BALLANCE. Many of these expert disclosures are based on evidence and data that has still not been disclosed to Mr. Kohberger. This is particularly true of Special Agent BALLANCE, whose ever-changing reports and opinions are based on material that has not been provided to Mr. Kohberger. To assist the court, Mr. Kohberger appends Exhibit 1 to this motion as a guide to the chronology of the disclosures and the lack of detail. It identifies each expert and the limits of the disclosure. The state cannot be allowed to benefit from what they have done. Mr. Kohberger, recognizing what the state was doing, filed a motion to compel disclosures and a motion to extend his deadline. His motion to extend disclosure deadline was denied. Of course it was. During his motion to compel, the court expressed intent to apply the rules of if disclosures were not properly made. The state then, with the advantage of Mr. Kohberger's expert disclosures, has continued to trickle new opinions to the defense. The state cannot be allowed to benefit at the expense of Mr. Kohberger's right to a fair trial, confrontation, due process, and assistance of counsel. The state cannot be allowed to ignore Mr. Kohberger's rights, shirk its duty, and get a free pass on the rules. The state must be held to the limits of its timely disclosures. And then this was originally sealed. Exhibit 1. Defendants Exhibit 1, March 24th, 2025. Where it goes by each person. This is wild, friends, what we are about to read. So this audio better fucking hold up for this. Okay? Better hold up. Okay. So, everybody ready? Colleen, hello. Welcome on in. So it says there's 72 of you here. How you doing? Okay. If you know, as far as I know, this exhibit, this is from March of this year. Okay. This exhibit was not previously viewable. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it was not. So let's see. Anderson. Initial disclosure for Anderson was 12/18/2024. This witness is an expert from NMS Labs that performed testing for substances a deceased has consumed. His work encompassed Ethan Chapin, Xander Carnodal, and Kaylee Gonsalves. Reports are included. No other opinion has been provided. Testimony should be limited to involvement and opinion within the report, which is no more than quantity of drugs found in blood. Ayers. This witness works at Idaho State Police Forensics Lab. She was on scene at 1122 King on November 17, 2022. She has continued to work at ISP Forensics since. She has been accessible to the state beginning 4 days after the incident and forward. Her initial disclosure was 12/18/2024. Topic areas. Ayers can be expected to testify as to the search and collection of evidence, such as presumptive blood testing, the collection of buccal swabs, swabbing for potential DNA evidence, collection of hair samples, and/or latent prints. Ayers may also discuss the process of photographing crime scenes. Additionally, Ayers may discuss lab protocols and procedures, including the disposition of evidence. Lab Report 25 was disclosed as her expert opinion. Rebuttal disclosure was 2/17/2025. She actively participated in using the LISQ imaging system. Quote, marking blood stains, reviewing evidence, discussing which evidence may or may not be relevant to the crime, liaising with detectives on the case, and working with other entities to support the needs of the investigation. Much of this disclosure describes what can be done and what a crime scene team does. These descriptions of what was done are included, but the disclosure does not clearly state what she did or what her opinion is. Her additional disclosure was March 3rd, 2025. This disclosure starts with the general scene processing before another topic area is disclosed. Quote, Ayers will testify about DNA. DNA is a genetic material contained in human cells that may be utilized for human identification. DNA may be present on an item in the form of biological material such as blood, semen, and saliva, or may be left on an item when it is handled, touch DNA. Biological evidence and possible potential DNA evidence is collected for preservation and may be sent for further testing to qualified DNA analysts. Crime scene personnel do not test or screen for DNA specifically, end quote. The disclosure continues describing processing and testing. The state does not disclose any opinions she may have about what was done or why. The state does not provide any opinions related to her knowledge of DNA in this case or touch DNA. The state has not made any expert disclosure other than Lab 25. The court must limit Ayers' testimony to her qualifying background and her work and opinion as stated in Report 25. Let's get into balance. How's the audio holding up? Holy shit. Let's hope it's holding up. Audio better be working. Vibe Life, hello. Welcome on in. Chrissy, hello. Yvonne Poole, good to see you. Outcast, always good to see you. What up, homie? What up, gangsta? Good to see you, Outcast. Yeah, this audio better be holding up. Guys, this is wild, right? Isn't this insane? We're actually getting to take a peeky poo at the defense's exhibit that initially we could not see. How exciting, how exciting. Oh, do you need the link, Bombshell? You need the link. Aw, do you need the link, darling? Look at, guys, look. They subscribed for 10 minutes. They've been a subscriber for 10 minutes so they could leave this comment. They literally subscribed and had to wait 10 minutes to leave this comment. Oh, Colleen, this person's wicked mad because the other day I was telling Jim there that he needs to stop making his meth in his toilet. So this must be Jim coming back with a new account or something like that. Jim probably has, I don't know, 50 accounts. But either way, it's pretty hysterical because this fucking idiot had to subscribe and wait 10 minutes just to say something stupid. It's absolutely wild. You've been subscribed for weeks. Well, good for you, Bombshell. Good. Keep me in that algorithm. But you're right. I am on fucking fire tonight. I absolutely am. You know it. So let's get into Special Agent Balance here, huh? Because he's about to get his ass eaten up in this exhibit, just so we're clear. About to get his ass eaten up in this exhibit. Fuzzy Bubbles, hello. And that's all they wanted to was just to have their one little comment go across the screen for a minute, right? They just need the attention. It's like that kid with oppositional defiance disorder, right? That will do anything for attention, even negative shit. Doesn't matter what kind of attention they're getting, whether it's negative or positive. They just need it. They crave it. It gives them that dopamine hit they need. So, hopefully that helped you, Bombshell. I hope you got your dopamine hit for the night, honey. All right, so Special Agent Balance is an FBI agent specializing in cell site location information and a member of the Cellular Analysis and Survey Team, CAST. He worked alongside Moscow police detectives. He was co-located in Moscow. He assisted in search warrant applications and was communicating with the state and detectives at least as early as November 15th, 2022. He assisted the state in securing digit information. I think it's supposed to say digital, analyzing information, as well as conducting interviews as part of the investigation. Expert disclosure, December 18th, 2024. The initial disclosure stated he would testify about how cell towers work and interact with cell phones. His testimony would include what records related to personal cell phones are available and how they were used. Quote, Special Agent Balance will testify consistent with the historical cellular phone data provided to the defendant in discovery. Special Agent Balance will explain the methodology used to create his report, which is attached hereto as Exhibit S2B. Special Agent Balance will discuss how call detail records provided by AT&T were used to create cell site maps contained in his report, including his corroboration of the mapping with the records provided. Special Agent Balance will also explain in detail what the mapping in his report reflects. It is noteworthy that the state has never disclosed Special Agent Balance's methodology used to create his report. He has never disclosed how his maps were created. Special Agent Balance has omitted over 90% of the AT&T data during the relevant times he chose to map. There is no disclosure as to why this data was omitted. Quote, Special Agent Balance will provide his opinion as to the general locations in which the target cellular telephones were located at various times before and after the homicides at 1122 King Road and the cellular phone's direction of travel. That testimony will rely on information furnished by cellular phone providers concerning which cell towers the cellular telephones connected with during those times. Special Agent Balance may also testify regarding which cellular tower sectors were utilized for the relevant data and explain that the direction of the cellular tower sector utilized can indicate the general location of the relative to the tower it utilized. The state has never produced an actual opinion by Special Agent Ballance about, quote, the general location of Mr. Kohberger's cellular telephone was at various times before and after the homicides at 1122 King Road and the cellular phone's direction of travel. The state has never, in bold capital letters, never produced an actual opinion by Special Agent Ballance about, quote, the general location of Mr. Kohberger's cellular telephone, where it was at various times before and after the homicides at 1122 King Road, and the cellular phone's direction of travel. Insane. Blueberry, right? We all did. Yeah, I think a lot of us did. I don't want to say we all did, but I'm sure everybody, at some point, yeah. So I hope you guys are listening, though. I hope you guys are actually listening to all of this with Special Agent Ballance here. I hope everybody's absorbing this, absorbing it. Okay, so on February 17th, 2025 was his rebuttal disclosure. The state responds to the defense disclosures, but in doing so, it continues to refuse to provide expert analysis and opinion. Quote, the FBI Cellular Analysis Survey Team, CAST, conducts drive testing using a Gladiator Autonomous Receiver, otherwise known as GAR, developed by Gladiator Forensics. The GAR collects the data, which is then analyzed by Gladiator Forensic software. The software creates the coverage maps seen on several pages of the report. The coverage maps are created using the actual measurements taken by the GAR and interpolation using the natural neighbor algorithm, end quote. The disclosure does not state who produced the maps or how they were analyzed. The disclosure lacks an opinion about the mapping program or its production. The state has not disclosed records that verify the mapping program, nor has it stated Ballance is an expert in mapping. Special Agent Ballance went to great lengths to obtain raw drive test data in this case. Despite those efforts, he has only produced the mapping of that data for less than 5% of the relevant cell sites in his work product. There have been no disclosures as to why he has omitted 95% of the relevant coverage maps. The disclosure goes on, quote, FBI CAST examines each transaction in the raw records to determine reliability based on several factors. As an example, when an AT&T data session is initiated on AT&T's network that is not following a timeout of a previous data session, AT&T records the first cell site and then the subsequent cell sites associated with the session if applicable. End quote. The state does not disclose Special Agent Ballance's review of reliability. The state is creating wiggle room for Ballance to testify to something undisclosed at this time. This particular area impacts 7 minutes of time and exculpatory information. This is the 7 minutes between 2:47 and 2:54 a.m. The state applied for search warrants and its arrest warrant claiming Mr. Kohberger's phone stopped reporting to the network at 2:47 a.m. The state later had to concede, based on its own discovery disclosures, that the phone went off the network at 2:54 a.m. Between the time of 2:47 and 2:54, while the phone was on and receiving service, it was utilizing cell towers. The phone was not stationary and utilizing only one tower. The phone was moving during the 7 minutes. During the 7 minutes, the tower's handoff service, during the 7 minutes, the tower's handoff service as the phone is moving. These handoffs, once analyzed, locate the direction of movement and the location of the phone when it stops reporting at 254. The state asserts Special Agent Balance mapped this data but has not produced it. The state must be required to disclose what it is not saying here. The state must not be allowed to ambush Mr. Kohberger at trial by stating something that is not grounded in record. The state goes on to say handoff data is analyzed on page 13 of the cast PowerPoint. There is no analysis. Special Agent has not mapped a single handoff in the work product produced. These ignored handoffs are the handoffs occurring during the described 7 minutes. Analyzing those depict exculpatory evidence, right? Which is why he fucking left him out of his gas draft. That's why he left him out of his PowerPoint. Because analyzing those 7 minutes would depict exculpatory evidence. It is important to understand handoff data makes up more than 85%. It is important to understand handoff data makes up more than 85% of the defendant's AT&T network connections. Special Agent Balance's opinion as to why he can omit those connections in one part of his report while relying on them in others must be clearly stated. The state does not provide basis or analysis for Special Agent Balance's claim that Mr. Kohberger was using a tower that services the King Road address. Instead, they say this, quote, generating a report of all of the defendant's movements from June 2022 to December 2022 would be overly broad, unnecessary, and prolong the jury's service with the details not relevant to the prosecution. End quote. With the help of this very expert, the state sought and received AT&T phone records from Mr. Kohberger from June 2022 through December 2022. In affidavits supporting search and arrest, the state averred that Mr. Kohberger's phone data depicted numerous occasions where it utilized a tower servicing the King Road address. The state supplied Special Agent Balance as an expert and disclosed his PowerPoint with slides 29 and 30, claiming the same thing. It is noteworthy that the dates of this alleged behavior have been changed over the course of this expert's work. What the state has failed to do is provide the analysis of the claim. Mr. Kohberger will face his capital jury without the state backing up this claim. The state does not have connection between Mr. Kohberger and anyone that was at 1122 King Road. The state puts this information out to attempt to establish a connection. While the state has chosen not to disclose the analysis, Mr. Kohberger has disclosed the analysis. The analysis shows the falsity of the state's expert slide. The real analysis is exculpatory to Mr. Kohberger. This must be excluded from the state's presentation. Holy crap. Holy crap. Are you guys even listening? Or are you just in chat talking about all kinds of craziness? Yeah. You guys are all just talking about craziness. Are you guys even listening? You're not even fucking listening, are you? You have any idea how incredibly insane this is? Insane. Yeah, James Moen, shitfuck is right. You weren't even listening, were you? You weren't, because you're talking about Chantix and shit. Oh my God. Oh, Hitler saw this, darling. This was Exhibit 1. The defense attached this. The defense attached this. It was just originally under seal and we couldn't see it. This was attached in the defendant's reply to the state's response to the motion in limine number 2. We just couldn't see it before. Okay, so let's think. Let's insane, absolutely insane. Yeah, the chat is more insane, I guess. I'm just messing with you guys. I'm sure you're listening. Okay. So, according to the defense here, right? It says the state puts this information out to attempt to establish a connection. While the state has chosen not to disclose the analysis, Mr. Kohberger has disclosed the analysis. The analysis shows the falsity of the state's expert slides. The real analysis is exculpatory to Mr. Kohberger. This must be excluded from the state's presentation. The state provides its reason. The cast draft and cast final PowerPoints are different in size. Quote, CAST utilizes a peer review process of any work product prior to it being presented at trial. This peer review process is meant to ensure the final report is accurate, provides clarity to raw cellular records, and relevance to the state's case presentation, end quote. The state has failed to provide any documentation of its peer review process and opinions as to why changes were made. This disclosure addresses AT&T timing advance records. Mr. Kohberger respectfully requests the court look to the pleading and affidavit he filed in response to the state's motion on that topic. Supplemental disclosure on March 3rd, 2025. This disclosure advises the court and counsel that Special Agent Ballance plans to testify by summary from what various AT&T documents and utilize his own created summary as exhibits in place of the actual record. The state has not supplied such documents unless it is the PowerPoint. If that is the case, these documents are data that are the result of an undisclosed analysis and interpretation of the data. This disclosure advises Special Agent Ballance will testify as follows. Quote, page 13 depicts cellular phone usage by the 8458 phone on November 13, 2022, and Ballance is expected to testify that when the 8458 phone interacted with the AT&T network at 2:47 and 29 seconds a.m., the phone was not at the Brian Kohberger residence, marked BK on the map. Rather, it was southeast of the Brian Kohberger residence as depicted by the drive test data. Ballance is also expected to testify that he analyzed additional handoff data that occurred during this data session and that the 8458 phone stopped communicating with the network at 2:54 and 45 seconds. End quote. The state has not disclosed an analysis or where Special Agent Ballance will claim the phone was located. These are the 7 critical minutes that contain the exculpatory evidence. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, let's keep going. Quote, page 28 shows a map that includes 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, represented by the CS icon and a yellow circle that represents a 100-meter radius around the crime scene. Ballance will explain that he conducted analysis of all the cell sites in that area that provided coverage to the crime scene and identified any cell sites that drive test data showed coverage that included this 100-meter radius around the crime scene. The state has not disclosed this analysis. Quote, pages 29 and 30 represent any time that the 8458 phone utilized a cell site identified as part of page 28 between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. 23 separate instances between July 9th, 2022 and November 7th, 2022. Balance will testify that the 8458 phone used cell sites consistent with being at the crime scene during these dates and times. July 9th, 2022 to November 7th. Balance was going to testify that the 8458 phone used cell sites consistent with being at the crime scene during these dates. Balance will further testify that the hours between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. were identified by the investigative team as times of interest. 4 a.m., he was still making fucking 3-point turns at 4:07. What? The state has not disclosed its analysis. In its 2/17/2025 disclosure, it was these times the state claimed was cumbersome and a waste of time to analyze. Mr. Kohberger provides Exhibit 2, Affidavit of Syray, to support his motion to exclude Special Agent Balance's testimony. This witness must be excluded. So isn't this interesting? Let's just read this again. Balance will further testify that the hours between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. were identified by the investigative team as times of interest. But either way, the state did not disclose the analysis for that. Okay. Next, the Barnharts. Lucy, darling, hello. Yeah, no, Lucy, you do what you got to do, honey. You know you can do whatever you want here. By the way, welcome in, Right Brain. I know that you will absolutely handle anybody in chat that needs to be handled. So feel free, darling. Good to see you. It's almost Thanksgiving. Where's my Lucy? Have you been reading this, darling? I texted you. I don't know if you got my text, but isn't this absolutely insane? Insane. Okay. All right. Next, Barnharts. Their initial disclosure was, again, December 18th. The disclosures leave out any analysis and any real opinion about, quote, user behavior and actions on a PC and opinions of gaps. Rebuttal disclosure was February 17th, 2025. This disclosure advised Mr. Kohberger his experts needed to do a better disclosure so the state could rebut this expert. Testimony at trial must be limited to what these experts examined the processes used. Testimony at trial must be limited to what these experts examined and the processes used and identify things found as contained in the disclosure. I got to get my glasses. The experts have not provided an option about user behavior, only that gaps are abnormal. No further opinion has been provided for Mr. Kohberger. Then we have Cox here. Initial disclosure, 12/18/2024. This disclosure is a list of topics. Supplemental disclosure, March 3rd, 2025. This disclosure discloses specific areas of testimony. This discovery comes almost 3 months after the disclosure date and is still lacking critical information. See David Howell's affidavit in the motion in limine number 9. Testimony must be excluded because no real expert opinion has been stated and testimony is based on incomplete information. Then we have Dace White. Initial disclosure, 12/18. This disclosure listed topic areas of STR and YSTR DNA testing, and one specific area, a Pennsylvania trash pull, and contained in Lab Report 6. Oh, okay. The disclosure contained loose language about additional information or other analyst findings. Rebuttal disclosure came 2/17/2025. This disclosure increases her testimony about CODIS and why profiles were or were not uploaded. The decision and reason not to utilize CODIS for the two unknown male profiles has now been disclosed for the first time in over 2 years. Despite requests and discovery and the topic arising, this is the first time any reason has been disclosed. The state has taken the advantage of knowing Mr. Kohberger's timely disclosed work and decided upon a course of action to counter it. This portion of the disclosure must not be allowed. Supplemental disclosure, March 3rd, 2025. This disclosure references DNA testing with more information than the initial disclosure. Report 6 as disclosed before and reference to Report 16. Both reports contain her work. Lab Report 16 was referenced in the initial disclosure. Testimony must be limited to describing DNA testing in Lab Report 16. Then we have Dawson, rebuttal disclosure to February 17th, 2025. This expert was disclosed for the first time in rebuttal disclosures. His area of expertise and proposed testimony that Maddie Mogan was severely impaired by her intoxication and could not fight back is not one that was challenged by expert in Mr. Kohberger's disclosures. The timing of this disclosure does not leave Mr. Kohberger the opportunity to consider the necessity of meeting this expert analysis. This testimony serves no legitimate purpose other than to inflame the passions of the jury. Mr. Kohberger has not in any way contested the toxicology for Maddie Mogan. This is improper rebuttal and must be excluded. Then we have Deischer, initial disclosure, 12/18/2024. This expert works for NMS Laboratory. The expert analyzed the toxicology for Maddie Mogan. The report was disclosed. Testimony must be limited to the contents of the NMS Laboratory toxicology report. Now we have Douglas, Special Agent Douglas. Let me go get my glasses, take a sip. I can handle this shit myself right now. Hold, please. Oh boy, it's okay. I'll handle it. Hold, please. Yeah, you have to wait 10 seconds to slam a comment in. Breaking news live now. I think it's okay though. I think you'll live, honey. I think you'll be just fine if you have to wait 10 fucking seconds to slam a comment in. The reason I do that is so that people can't come in and spam my fucking chat. Know what I mean? So there. I took care of that myself. Oh, well, I was timing you out. Miss Piss Motts, yeah, I timed you out. Now you can just sit there for 30 minutes or bounce. But you've been timed out for 30 minutes. Bye. I didn't go anywhere. I said, hold, please, because that's what I was doing. I was coming over to my own chat on my phone because I can't do it from this end on Rumble, but I'm over here on YouTube on my phone in my chat and taking care of shit myself. Outcast is back. What up? Welcome back in, Outcast. So, yeah, there we go. Just wanted to also need to go grab my glasses. You know, the way I look at it is at the very least, if you're going to make your username some kind of, in a way to make fun of mine, and the only time that you come in is to leave a comment about some other creator being live, I don't give a fuck who the creator is, even if it's my bestie. You don't have to come in to somebody else's live to tell everyone about all the other creators that are live. Get a fucking life. Okay. That's how I feel about that. So now you can just stay timed out for 30 minutes. I didn't ban you. I could have just hid you from the channel, but I didn't. You can just be timed out for 30 minutes. Have a great night. Happy Thanksgiving. You should probably change your screen name now. Next time you pop in, if the screen name isn't fixed, I will ban you. And I don't care because that's just how I roll. So yeah, the Miss Piss Motts, yeah. Nice try. If I see you again, I'll just ban you. Know what I mean? So you can hang out for 30 minutes, and if you pop back in again in 30 minutes with something stupid in the chat, mentioning other creators, whatever the case may be, then you're definitely just going to be banned from the channel, right? Because I ain't here for all your drama bullshit. It's just not what I'm here for. Okay. Outcast, thank you. Thank you so much. Look at Outcast with the super sticker. Appreciate you. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you, Outcast. I hope you're going to do Jeopardy again soon. I want in on that, by the way. I definitely want in on the next trivia session, homie. Just so you know. That was a lot of fun. Okay, hold please. I'll be right back. Love me and TNT, no disrespect. Oh, okay. Well, then you should change your name then. That's what you should do, right? Because I know exactly what this name is, and there's only one person who's ever called me that, ever, 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 right? So I know exactly who you are. I know exactly who you are, right? So you should just change your name, right? But thank you, Outcast. Appreciate you. Next time you do trivia, I want in on that. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully it's not at 2 a.m. But I guess even if it is, I might be having insomnia. Oh, well, thanks, Anna D, honey. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah, exactly, Lucy. Right, right. And I know who it is too, though. That's what's even funnier about it. Like, I know exactly who it is. Exactly who it is. So it's all good. You know, these people think they're funny. They think they're slick. They're not. They're just not. Personally, whatever. So let's get into Special Agent Douglas here, right? Initial disclosure, December 18th. Special Agent Douglas works for the FBI and is a forensic accountant. This disclosure stated that Douglas was intended to testify as a lay witness and about various records collected and data contained therein. The state included the caveat that any expert testimony would be based on his training and experience contained in his CV. 2 FBI reports relating to the records he looked at and identifying specific transactions was included. These reports did not contain opinion about the records listed. Supplemental disclosure, March 3rd, 2025. This disclosure references numerous documents not listed in the previous disclosure. These appear to be documents he utilized for the federal grand jury subpoena process to obtain. His anticipated testimony includes Amazon records. His accounting background is not the same as digital forensics. Amazon platform is explained in defense motion in limine number 11, Amazon Click, and the affidavit of David Howell. Other than collecting the record, the state has not disclosed Douglas's credentials to analyze Amazon records. No opinion about the records was disclosed. The state disclosed that Douglas will testify about spending habits. Other than documenting financial institutions and transaction records, the state has not disclosed this expert's opinion of spending habits. This expert must be limited to the specific bank records or purchases contained in the disclosure. Opinion or what it is based on must be excluded because any opinion of this expert has not been disclosed. Gilbertson. Rebuttal disclose. Let's see. Gilbertson. Rebuttal. Gilbertson just kicks off with rebuttal, huh? Gilbertson. Rebuttal disclosure 2/17/2025. This witness for Idaho State Police. This witness works for Idaho State Police. He worked as an investigator on this case. This disclosure does not properly rebut Mr. Kohberger's disclosures. Further, the state has not identified how this witness is an expert in what he claims to be an expert in. Expert testimony and any opinion must be excluded. Rob Hill. This witness is disclosed as a rebuttal witness. The disclosure lists specific clips of vehicles that he will testify about. However, the disclosure goes further to state that there are other videos, but does not indicate this witness has an opinion about the vehicles. His testimony must be limited to what has been disclosed. What? This witness is disclosed as a rebuttal witness. The disclosure lists specific clips of vehicles that he will testify about. However, the disclosure goes further to state there are other videos, but does not indicate this witness has an opinion about the vehicles. Special Agent Imel. Oh boy. Initial disclosure 12/18 and rebuttal disclosure 2/17. Okay, so 12/18/2024, rebuttal February 17, 2025. This witness is a special agent in the FBI. His role was to look at video footage supplied to him and attempt make and model identification of a vehicle captured on footage on King Road. He was supplied various additional clips to make identification. Both disclosures contain opinion and rebuttal to Mr. Kohberger's expert opinion. As long as the testimony does not change from that contained in the disclosures or go beyond the disclosures, Mr. Kohberger is advised. Mabbitt. Initial disclosure 12/18. This witness is the coroner for Latah County. This disclosure contained opinion and reference to previously sworn testimony. As long as the testimony does not change, Mr. Kohberger is advised. Mychak. This witness works for Idaho State Police Forensics Laboratory. This disclosure contains notice that this witness will talk about the process of DNA work and specifically her work in lab reports 1, 4, 17, and 20. The state used loose language about her testimony, not being further limited. Supplemental disclosure was 3/3/2025. This disclosure includes her DNA work and process, but adds generally about probabilistic genotyping and what kinds of items contain DNA. This disclosure includes references to CODIS and parentage index. No further opinion other than what is contained in her reports are disclosed. Her testimony must be limited to general topics as stated, and her work in the above-mentioned lab reports. Martinez. Initial disclosure 12/18. This witness works for Idaho State Police Forensics Laboratory. The disclosure includes general topics such as evidence collection, documentation, photography evidence disposition, and lab protocol in general terms. This witness, expert opinions relating to the case, are contained in lab reports 5, 10, 11, 19, 23, 24, 25, 27, 30, 32, 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41. Supplemental disclosure, March 3rd, 2025. This disclosure includes references to this witness collecting biological data from Mr. Kohberger. It also includes a general description of taking and comparing fingerprints, as well as available databases for upload. Reference is made to some of the initially disclosed report numbers. There is no further disclosure about the opinions contained in the reports. As long as this witness testifies within the scope of general topics as listed in the specific reports for expert opinions, Mr. Kohberger is advised. Jade Miller. Initial disclosure 12/18. This witness works for Idaho State Police Forensics Laboratory. This disclosure referenced specific lab reports 7, 13, 31, 34, 36, and grand jury testimony. Supplemental disclosure March 3rd, 2025. This disclosure adds reference to various topics without conclusions, such as probabilistic genotyping, human biological material utilized in DNA testing, how to determine how much DNA is present. This disclosure discusses CODIS and the decision not to pursue or not to put males B or D into the database. Sorry, let me read that again. This disclosure adds reference to various topics without conclusions, such as probabilistic genotyping, human biological material utilized in DNA testing, how to determine how much DNA is present. This disclosure discusses CODIS and the decision not to put males B or D into the database. The decision and reason not to utilize CODIS for the 2 unknown male profiles has now been disclosed for the first time in over 2 years. Despite requests and discovery in the topic arising, this is the first time any reason has been disclosed. The state has taken the advantage of knowing Mr. Kohberger's timely disclosed work and decided upon a course of action to counter it. This portion of the disclosure must not be allowed. Mowry, Detective Mowry, you sandbagging son of a bitch. We're finally to you, Detective Mowry. Ring-a-ling-a-ling, beep, beep. We're finally on Detective Mowry. Is Detective Mowry in the chat? Is Detective Mowry in the chat? Yeah, see, I know who it is. I know exactly who that is. Just block them, Heather, right? Just block them. Just at this point, I don't even care. You know I don't like banning people, but lay the ban hammer fucking down, bro. Down. Right? If you need to. Exactly, Lucy. Yeah, it is kind of weird, isn't it? It's kind of weird that they would test against males B and D if those aren't relevant. But then also try not to identify. Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, you did. Thank you, darling. Yeah. And then I don't have to keep going to my phone to do it. At this point, I don't even care, right? If they even have a screen name that remotely fucking resembles mine, ban hammer them. Just for funsies. Just because I don't care. Because, I don't care. I literally don't. I know who it is too, and I know what they're doing. So they make like multiple accounts with different versions, right? Different versions of the name. They do it a lot. And they'll have multiple accounts. I already know who it is. It's fine. And just like that, bam, once the ban hammer sets in, people drop right out. And then they have to come back under a new account, right? Block them for 30 minutes, they'll just come back under a different account. They do it all the time. That's why what's his name back there used to be like, yeah, whatever, get out, come back in 20 minutes with a new account. All right, so let's get to Detective Mowry here. Initial disclosure, 12/18/2024. This witness is a detective with Moscow Police Department. He began working the case in various capacities since the first day. He has conducted interviews, assisted in obtaining search warrants, worked on digital data, and worked extensively with Special Agent Balance. This disclosure was a list of 56 devices and other third-party data. Supplemental disclosure, March 3rd. This disclosure states that there are 49 devices and digital data sets that this witness will testify there is no connection between Mr. Kohberger and any of the following individuals: Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xander Carnodal, Ethan Chapin, Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, Jack Decor, Jack Showalter, Molly McMichael DoorDash, Eric Grower, or Emily Alant. The rest of this witness's testimony will be about the download of other devices. So Mr. Kohberger is allegedly not connected to Molly McMichael either. Interesting. And Detective Mowry was going to testify to that. Detective Mowry was going to tell. Oh, hell yeah, Lucy. Get it, girl. Get it. Get it. This is why you're right brain. I just went to grab my phone. I literally don't even care anymore. So Detective Mowry here, right? Detective Mowry here was going to testify that Mr. Kohberger there is no connection between Mr. Kohberger and any of the following individuals, including Molly McMichael, the DoorDash driver, as well as Eric Grower, however you say his name, and Emily Alant. Other than police work conducted by this witness, the testimony must be limited to what has been disclosed. The devices and third-party data contain many terabytes of discovery. No specific testimony regarding any devices should be allowed. Then we have Nord. This witness works for the Idaho State Police Crime Lab. This disclosure refers to Lab Report 18. Supplemental disclosure. This disclosure refers to the item number 71, which was the item tested in Report 18. This disclosure describes the processes and methods used in the testing. As long as testimony is limited to these disclosures, Mr. Kohberger is advised. Nowlin. This objection is contained in motion in limine number 6 and is incorporated by her reference but will be argued separately. And we have Eric Seat. This witness works for the Idaho State Police Crime Lab. This disclosure referred to Lab Report 3 and listed topics to discuss. Supplemental disclosure. This disclosure does not list additional lab reports but contains more detail about the process of DNA work. As long as this witness does not testify outside of these disclosures, Mr. Kohberger is advised. Then we have Singh. Initial disclosure, 12/18/2024. This witness is the pathologist that conducted the autopsies in this case. This disclosure contains both opinion and the autopsy report. Rebuttal disclosure, 2/17/2025. This disclosure contains opinion related to some of the defense experts' disclosures. As long as this witness does not testify outside of these disclosures, Mr. Kohberger is advised. Mr. Kohberger has received a separate disclosure related to Part 2 should the trial reach that stage. Sutton. I don't know who that is. Okay. This witness works as an expert in blood spatter. This disclosure contained an expert report. Sutton. Sutton is an expert in blood spatter. Initial disclosure, 12/18. Rebuttal disclosure, 2/17. This disclosure noted a promised report. Supplemental disclosure, March 3rd. This disclosure was the report promised on 2/17/2025 and has the date of 2/13/2025. Mr. Kohberger did not receive it until March 3rd, 2025. His concern is, if his experts need to respond, Mr. Kohberger needs additional time to make that final determination. The changes to the initial report by Sutton are extensive. I would love to be able to read that. Tanzola. This witness is a special agent with the FBI. This disclosure noted the expert was an expert in digital forensics. The expert examined 7 items and a report describing the process was included. The disclosure contained no opinion from the processing of these items. Rebuttal disclosure, 2/17/2024. This disclosure advised Mr. Kohberger his experts needed to do a better disclosure so the state could rebut his expert. Testimony at trial must be limited to what this expert examined and the process used. No opinion has been provided for Mr. Kohberger. Neil Uhrig. This witness was an examiner with Post Falls Police Department. The disclosure contained reference to 7 devices in a police report. The disclosure referenced a police report. The report identified the examination and disclosed no connection to Mr. Kohberger. Supplemental disclosure, March 14th. This disclosure stated that the witness will testify about his expertise to examine these devices. Additionally, it clarified that no connection with Mr. Kohberger was found. No further opinion has been provided. Testimony at trial must be limited to the contents of these 2 disclosures. We're almost done, friends. Walt Hall. Initial disclosure, 12/18. This witness works for Idaho State Police Forensics. This disclosure stated the witness will testify about the latent print processing. Further, opinion was contained in the grand jury testimony and lab reports 2 and 15. You got that right, brain? Lab reports 2 and 15. Supplemental disclosure, March 3rd. This disclosure references the same lab reports but contains greater detail about print examination, processing, and uploading for database comparison. No further opinions have been provided. As long as the testimony relates to what has been disclosed, Mr. Kohberger is advised. And we have Wilt. This disclosure disclosed prior testimony in grand jury. Lab reports 1, 3, 8, 9, 14, 22, 28, 29, 33, 35. Supplemental disclosure, March 3rd. This disclosure contained further description of testimony relating to DNA collection and what trace DNA means. No further opinions have been provided. As long as testimony relates to these disclosures, Mr. Kohberger is advised. Youngling. Initial disclosure 1218. This witness was employed by Idaho State Police Forensics. The disclosures list her testimony as discussing DNA testing in general and references to lab reports 2, 4, 12, and 21. Amended disclosure. This disclosure describes various lab processes, such as scene processing, fingerprinting, packaging items taken for evidence, DNA testing, trace evidence, and tire impressions. The disclosure is general and not specific to this case. Oh my God, stop. No opinion as it relates to Mr. Kohberger is provided. Testimony must be limited to the stated lab reports and general procedures in the lab. Okay, so that was it. This is why I wanted to share this, okay, with you guys, because I just can't believe that this is even, yeah, exactly, Lucy, right, yeah. Yeah. So, isn't that crazy? So, this is where you guys can find this. By the way, I'm going to link this for you right now in chat. Okay, we'll copy, paste. There you are, friends. I'm going to copy this and put that right in the chat for you, okay? So anybody who wants this document, there it is. It's all yours. You need to go print it, laminate it, frame it, do whatever you want with it. You know what I say. There you go. It's this document right here where you're going to find everything we just read through. Gotta say. I found this on accident. I decided I went all the way back to the beginning, starting at January on the case summary page, for cases of interest. And, just started clicking through things. I went back to all the motions in limine because I remembered there was a lot of things there where stuff is sealed. So I advise everybody do the same. You got to go back. You got to look at stuff that maybe was previously sealed. This is from March. So either way, it's there. Anybody who wants it, there it is. Okay. I don't know, man. Holy shit. All I know is that that one's pretty interesting, huh? Youngling. This witness is or was employed by Idaho State Police Forensics. The disclosures list her testimony as discussing DNA testing in general and reference to lab reports 2, 4, 12, and 21. Amended disclosure for this person. This disclosure describes various lab processes, such as scene processing, fingerprinting, packaging items taken for evidence, DNA testing, trace evidence, and tire impressions. The disclosure is general and not specific to this case. No opinion as it relates to Mr. Kohberger is provided. Like, are you shitting me? Are you absolutely shitting me? This is insane. Insane. My goodness gracious. It was a pretty good find, huh, Yes, it is. So telling. So telling. It is so telling, isn't it, my darling? Thanks, James. Thanks, James Moen. Vibe Life anytime. Appreciate you being here. I'll always share the link. Always. I usually put the links to the docs in the description of the video, and I just forgot to do it with Rumble today, so it's fine. I can go back in and edit it, and I'll make sure that all of the links to each doc individually, I'll make sure I put it in the description of the video for everybody. So it's basically all of the documents that pertain to motion in limine number 2. Numero dos. You'll want to look at those. Twiz, darling. Hello, lurker. Always so good to see you. Always so good to see you. Hope you're having a great night. Did I expect anything better? Of course not, darling. Of course not. But you know how much I love to laugh and witch cackle. So, you know, and that's why we read these things together, because it gives me the opportunity to witch cackle, which is one of my most favorite things to do. So, hopefully, everybody enjoyed the witch cackling as well. Hopefully, you enjoyed this little read through here. I will make sure that I go back and put the links in the description of the video for anybody who wants them. And yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Mods, truly appreciate you. Lucy, especially, darling, my right brain, thank you. All of you out there making up 50 different accounts with different variations of my name, have fun with that. Have fun with that. Don't worry. Every time you show up, we just lay down the ban hammer, bitches. Okay? You'll have to, you're just going to get banned over and over and over. And if you keep coming back with a new account, that's fine too. I guess you got too much time on your hands if you need to make 30 different accounts. I'm just saying. You have way too much time on your hands and you should get a life. Just saying. Yes, exactly. Loving it up. Why isn't it specific to this case? Who knows? Who knows, darling? Who knows? We have no idea why they would have some expert give disclosure that has nothing to do with the fucking case. And it's just it's just general topics, just general things. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a great night. I'm tired. This is late for me, and you all know that. But I appreciate you all being here. If the first 20 minutes of this audio was junk, oh well, speed through it, put it at 2 speed. Don't know what else to tell you. At some point, I'll probably go back in and edit it out, but whatever. You know, it's the internet. Don't take it too fucking seriously. You know what I mean? Hope you guys have a great night. It's a holiday coming up. Everybody's drunk driving, so be very careful out there, friends. Stay safe. Take care of each other. I hope you have a wonderful night, and a happy Thanksgiving if I don't see you again. Enjoy the time with your families. Take care. Bye.